a gigantic crowd is lining the dauntingly fast 2.9-mile course in sweltering heat to watch the 36th British Grand Prix. It all began at a very different Silverstone in 1948, when the great Italian driver Luigi Villarese won the first post-war British Grand Prix in a Maserati at 72 miles an hour, under half today's speed. Now, 35 years later, Grand Prix racing and Silverstone have changed. And it's here at Silverstone that this year's Grand Prix series recommences after a 5-week break, with the 1.5-litre turbocharged Renault at the top. For Renault's Alain Prost leads the Drivers' Championship by a clear 3 points from Ferrari's Patrick Tambay and Brabham's Nelson Piquet, who are in that vital second position. In fourth position, Keke Rosberg fighting against the turbo hordes in his Williams. René Arnoux fifth and John Watson in sixth place. Renault head the important Manufacturers' Championship too, but they share that lead with Ferrari, 9 points ahead of Williams, with Brabham fourth, McLaren fifth and Tyrrell sixth. Alain, Silverstone is obviously tremendously important to you. What chances do you think you've got?
Oh, I think I have the same chance on the Ferrari and the Brabham. I think it could be a fight between 6 cars, 6 turbo cars, but it's very difficult to do a pronostic now because it depends too much of the weather, if it's very hot, about the tires, and this track is very difficult for the engines too.
But Ferrari dominate the starting grid with Arnoux and Tambay fastest. Then Prost, De Angelis a superb fourth in the brand new JPS 94, Patrese and Piquet with Derek Warwick 10th. But the sensation of this meeting so far has been Elio De Angelis, who has yet to score a point this year, was fastest in the warm-up today and the 2 untimed sessions in his new JPS 94T with the Renault engine.
So there's René Arnoux, who averaged 152 miles an hour for his qualifying lap of 1 minute 9.4, which is really quite something because this circuit has got enough corners to get in the way.
67 laps then, the 36th British Grand Prix, organised as ever, flew perfectly by the RAC, Motorsports Association. There they are, the lights are going on any second now, and away they go! And Arnoux leads away. Tambay is going to come up alongside him as they go into Copse. The 2 Renaults are together. Round Copse corner they go. The first 5 virtually as one. And one of the Renaults has slotted into second position, into third position, challenging. And Patrick Tambay is going to try and take René Arnoux on the inside, and he's done it. And Tambay leads. Arnoux is in second place. Prost is third. Patrese is fourth. Chiva is fifth. And Nelson Piquet is in sixth position.
And Elio De Angelis had a very poor start. That was Rosberg off on the grass there, giving him a little nudge, but he's back on in one piece. Elio De Angelis, who is one of the favourites for the race, certainly for speed. On the warm-up this morning, he was quickest, but he's off to a bad start, so he's going to have to fight hard to make up some ground in the new Lotus.
Tambay, Arnoux and Prost, lap 1. 67-lap race. Don't forget that we had an unofficial lap record of some 152 miles an hour. This is going to be the fastest Grand Prix of all time. It's going to be savoured by this enormous crowd. Under the bridge they come into Woodcote, lap 1. Ferrari leads, Tambay, Ferrari second, Arnoux. Then it is Alain Prost third, Patrese fourth, Chiva fifth. Elio De Angelis is in sixth position and has therefore passed Nelson Piquet. Elio De Angelis, the Italian driver in the new JPS Renault with the 1.5-litre turbocharged Renault engine, is in sixth position, and I think he is gaining. Now, and De Angelis stopping. De Angelis flaming his turbos. That's tragic luck. On lap 2, Elio De Angelis will be absolutely furious.
Yes, great shame to lose De Angelis so early on, because the car went really very well indeed in practice, and particularly well in race trim this morning, so that'll be a great disappointment to De Angelis and the Lotus teams.
And the gap between Tambay, the leader, and Arnoux is 0.83 seconds, and we're still waiting. There goes Derek Warwick, and Nigel Mansell is now right in the wheel tracks of Derek Warwick, who is in 9th position. So Nigel Mansell in car number 12, the new JPS Renault is starting to carve his way through the field. He has come up from 16th position to where he is now.
Yes, well, that's terrific news for Lotus and for Nigel. There is Nigel Mansell at the back of that bunch in the black JPS Lotus, and this should help to offset the great disappointment they must be feeling over De Angelis' performance, but it's terrific news for Nigel. He's had a really very troubled practice. Every little thing's gone wrong, as of course can happen with a brand new car. No criticism of the Lotus team, who in fact deserve the highest praise for their efforts in getting the car ready at all. They built this car very quickly for this race, and it must be very rewarding for them to see Nigel going so well. But now, of course, he's up with the turbos. He's dealt with the Cosworth-powered cars, but it's going to be a much more difficult task for him to get past Eric Warwick and get stuck in and chase the leaders. Now here we are, back to the leaders. Tambay leading across the start-finish line under the bridge and up to Cops Corner, with Prost in the Renault staying right with them, and Prost is in fact beginning to harry René Arnoux. He's beginning to look for a way by, and Patrese in the Brabham is there ready to sweep up any errors as well. So these four leading cars look very evenly matched. Prost is now looking to get into the slipstream, get a tow down the straight, and we'll see. No, he doesn't have the power. You see, it looks, if anything, the Ferraris seems to have a little bit more power. He's quicker than the Renault on the straight, which is going to make things very difficult for Prost to get past, because he was in the slipstream, and even despite that, even with the hole in the air made by the Ferrari in front, he couldn't make any impression on the straight. And Eddie Cheever there just being pushed into the garage, so he's out. Obviously some sort of terminal mechanical failure with his car, so that's the end of his day's work. But you watch
and
when we go on.
That is sorry James, but that is Stefan Johansson driving in his first Grand Prix, in the first Grand Prix for the Spirit Honda. He's driving the car there that was in the Race of Champions, but he's clearly out of the British Grand Prix.
Well, it looks to me at the moment as if Prost is the fastest man on the circuit, but he can't show us that yet, because, as I've just discussed at length, he's stuck for power to get past René Arnoux. In the meantime, they've just pulled away a little bit of a gap from Riccardo Patrese, so it looks as if they've got the legs on the Brabham just about, but he's holding on pretty gamely, but they have opened that little bit. You'll see the cars as they go through the chicane, just putting a wheel on each curb as they go through it.
That's Patrese. Riccardo Patrese would seem to be in trouble. He's slowed right down, and it's going to be another non-finish for Riccardo Patrese, the most unhappy and unfortunate Italian driver who won at Monaco last year. It seems to me that Prost in third position is much better on the braking as they go into the corners than René Arnoux. There are different tyres. Arnoux is using Goodyear and Prost is using Michelin.
And Prost looks to me to be, he's not close enough to have a go, you see. He needs to really be alongside René Arnoux as they come up here. Prost is really having a go. He's climbing all over him, but now there you are. Look at that gap already, 5 lengths clear. The Ferrari pulled in a matter of a couple of hundred yards. That Ferrari engine must really be putting out some power, because the Renault is no slouch, that's for sure.
650 horsepower in race trim the Ferrari is alleged to have, even more than the Renault. And the two Frenchmen who are in second and third places are, of course, very strong, not to say bitter rivals. Don't forget that René Arnoux in the red Ferrari there, who is in second place, was in the same team as Alain Prost last year. René Arnoux won the French Grand Prix at Paul Ricard against orders when he was supposed to let Prost through to win, and after that Prost would have nothing to do with him, and as a result of that Arnoux left the Renault team, and now Prost will be very, very anxious to get through, and he's doing it. He goes through beautifully on the inside at Copse on lap 14. Alain Prost in the Renault has gone through and taken second place.
Terrific stuff, and Piquet's now having a look at René Arnoux, and I have to say Prost did a magnificent bit of overtaking there, because he definitely caught Arnoux napping then. Arnoux was not expecting him to have a go. He'd positioned himself well. He'd done the right thing by not giving him any indication that that was where he was going to have his go, and that was a sort of very intelligent approach to it that you'd expect from Alan Prost, because he puts plenty of brain power into his driving, and that is a very necessary ingredient.
It is very, very hot and getting hotter. It is sultry, it is very humid. The cockpit temperatures, I would not be at all surprised to find, were of the order of 130 degrees. And there's the flame from Nelson Piquet's turbocharger as it pushes out through the wastegate and the secondary exhaust pipe, and Piquet now comes up alongside Arnoux, and they're going through, passing Mark Surer in the arrows and lapping him. Arnoux had to move aside a little late, which gave Piquet the opportunity to close up, but Arnoux shut the door in his face, and now they're coming up to Woodcote to complete lap 16.
I thought Piquet might have made a bit more of that situation if he'd gone back to the outside of the track more quickly and got a good clean line through the corner. He tucked in behind Arnoux and then had a run at him coming up under the bridge.
And as they go into the chicane, Patrick Tambay leading. Alain Prost has caught him. They're catching up now with Danny Sullivan in the Benetton Tyrrell. In third position, it is René Arnoux. In fourth place, it is Nelson Piquet. Fifth is Andrea De Cesaris. In sixth position, it is Winkelhock. Seventh now is Nigel Mansell, who has gone ahead of the new eighth-place man, Derek Warwick. And Nelson Piquet is through and past, and Prost takes the lead on lap 20. Alain Prost takes the lead from Patrick Tambay in the Ferrari, and Nelson Piquet takes third position from René Arnoux. So a dramatic change. And there is Nelson Piquet, the Brazilian in the Brabham BMW. He is through into third. The race in the twinkling of an eye has changed. The race for the lead has changed. The race for third place has changed.
Yes, and Piquet's pulling away from Arnoux pretty quickly. I think Arnoux may be possibly in a little bit of tyre trouble, but it's a question now. And here we see it again, and you see Prost. It's exactly the same manoeuvre that he did to Tambay's teammate René Arnoux. Nips through on the inside at Copse Corner, nice and steady, nice and clean, and he's off and running, and he can build up enough lead around there, enough Beckett's to be clear for the straight.
Totally against expectations then, the two Ferraris, which were first and second on the grid after practice, are fading. René Arnoux is still in fourth position, but now Andrea De Cesaris is right with him. He's only 1 second behind, and Patrick Tambay is before very much longer, I'm sure, to be swallowed up by Nelson Piquet. There we have the V6 Ferrari turbo and the straight 4 BMW turbo powering the Brabham car, slugging it out, and into the pits is coming Derek Warwick. Derek Warwick is coming into the pits in 8th position. Is it to refuel? We didn't expect it as early as this. Derek Warwick wasn't due in until lap 34. And it's a very, very early pit stop for Derek Warwick. He was due to come in on lap 34, and this is only lap 28. But we were warned that there might be some latitude, and the left rear wheel nut is stuck, and that is destroying time for the unfortunate Derek Warwick, who will be sitting fuming in the cockpit. And now Patrick Tambay and Nelson Piquet are slugging it out for second position.
See Piquet having a go then. Piquet was inside Tambay, going into Beckett's. He didn't quite make it, but he's really attacking it. And he's in position now, and yes, and Piquet, and it's very crowded indeed there. And Tambay's fighting back, side by side. Brownstow corner, terrific stuff, and I have to say that was very bad luck on Piquet, because the back marker undoubtedly got in the way, and that was to Tambay's advantage. So Piquet a bit unlucky when he finally was in position, but he's also in good position now to have a go under braking if he can stay that close as they go up under the Daily Express Bridge. And Piquet, can he duck out? He's having a go, and he's done it. He's got inside. Oh, it's all a bit tight. He slid wide, but he's held it together, and that was very much on the limit stuff. Piquet was only just slowed down enough to make it into the chicane. He went a little bit wide, but 10 out of 10 for it. A fine piece of overtaking. Tombe did everything he could to resist it. We have a situation where Piquet is some 9 seconds. That's John Watson making his pit stop. That's McLaren's making a scheduled stop.
This is the first pit stop for refueling that McLaren have ever made. You'll notice their different clothes, their uniforms. They've got angled petrol fillers, and John Watson gets away in. And into the pits now comes René Arnoux in the Ferrari in 4th place, and this is lap 33. Let us see how the well-drilled Ferrari team in their immaculate uniforms and helmets deal with it. In goes the hose. Off come the wheels already with 5 seconds gone. A really good pit stop can be done in 12 seconds, and by now René Arnoux will have lost 4th place to Andrea De Cesaris. He goes out in 15.45 seconds. Andrea De Cesaris will have moved up into 4th position, and Nigel Mansell will be challenging René Arnoux very hard as he comes back onto the circuit at Cops. And now they're the Renault pitmen ready, and on the other side of that board, which has 16 on it, is the number 15, and that is to show Alain Prost exactly where he has got to stop. That Renault official there is Alain Prost leading the British Grand Prix on lap 36, while calmly in his pit position wait the Renault mechanics, the refuelers, the tyre changers, the man who's got to hold the board to show him exactly where to stop, and most vitally, the pneumatic hammer operators and the 2 men front and rear who have to operate the jacks to lift the Renault off the ground and enable those wheels to come off. And of course, it is the driver's responsibility to put the brakes on when the wheels are off the ground to stop them going round. And Alain Prost actually forgot to do that in one of the races and made things extremely difficult for his technicians. Niki Lauda is coming into the pits. Here he is. Niki Lauda, number 8, double world champion, and he is now in 6th position. And as I talk to you, Nigel Mansell is up into 5th position. So there is Niki Lauda.
And Alain Prost is now coming into the pits. So there is Prost. Now they're giving it's a bit of a tight pit road, and of course they're still racing now, so he's going to get full post, but doing a good 120 up the pit road, slowing down now. There's his board. He has to follow the line, stop in exactly the right place, and as Murray rightly said, keep the foot on the brake, otherwise the mechanics can't get the rear wheels on because they roll. And Tombe is also coming to the pit, so they're all coming in at once. And Renault going very, very good stop by the Renault team, 14 seconds. And here we are, the Ferrari team already at work on Tombe's car. We haven't got there's the clock running on them.
Yes, I have a stopwatch running. Actually, it's now 13 seconds since Patrick Tombe stopped. It looks to me as though he's going to be a whisker slower. No, he gets away only 0.65 seconds between Alain Prost and Patrick Tombe's stops. Now, Nelson Piquet, who's coming up to the 165-mile-an-hour Abbey curve, is going to come in this lap. It looks to me as though he's coming in.
Yes, he's coming in this time, and they're going to have to really shift this pit stop. He's not going to get out in front of Prost, that's for sure, but it's a question of whether he can get out in striking distance. And also, interesting, we won't be able to tell from here, Brabham change the compound of his car or anything like that, because Prost was certainly going very quickly and quicker than Piquet when he got out on his fresh set. Right, stop.
2 men on each wheel, 1 on the hose, and look how quickly those pneumatic hammers stop, and it's got an inbuilt jacking system, and 12.26 seconds gives Nelson Piquet a 1.8 second advantage over Alain Prost, and he's being held up coming out of the pits.
Yes, that's very bad. That poor Piquet, the little bits and pieces of luck haven't really been with him in this race.
Now you can see the lines of the new John Player Special 94T. Nigel Mansell at the wheel, the man from Hall Green who now lives at Port Erin in the Isle of Man, and he stops his car now. Lotus team comparatively unused to this pressure system because they originally started off with a gravity system, but it's not at all a bad stop. And away he goes, 13 seconds. That is great stuff. And on lap 48 out of 67, it is Alain Prost there in the lead, 17 seconds ahead of Piquet, who is 8 seconds ahead of Tombe, who is 20 seconds ahead of Arnoux in 4th position. In 5th position and challenging Arnoux very hard indeed is Nigel Mansell. He's back up into 5th position with Winkelhock 6th. And here it is. Here is René Arnoux, who is 4th, and Nigel Mansell, who is 5th. And Mansell's going to take the Frenchman.
Well, Mansell's got the power disadvantage behind the Ferrari once again, but the Lotus looks a pretty slippery shape, and it seems that, and he's having a go down the inside here. He's looking, it's a very tough one to go inside into club, but if he can position himself right and get a suck along, then René Arnoux, don't do it now, Nigel, wait. Oh, he's done it. He's done it, well done. And what's more, Arnoux had to back off, and so Nigel Mansell's got the clear lead he wanted, so as not to be retaliated at, and that was terrific stuff. So Mansell moves up into
4th position, and here's the replay. Nigel Mansell first tried to take René Arnoux on one side, and then he jigged through on the inside, and as James said, because of that, René Arnoux had to back off, and Nigel Mansell gets a double benefit. He not only moves up into 4th place, but he increases the gap between himself and the brand new C3 Ferrari. And look at the crowd saying, go Nigel! And go he is certainly doing. And Manfred Winkelhock is coasting into the pits to retire. Manfred Winkelhock, the German in the ATS, as we look down, and now with Nigel Mansell, Alain Prost leads Nelson Piquet by 16 seconds. Patrick Tombe is 3rd, 8 seconds behind Piquet. Nigel Mansell is 4th. In 5th position is René Arnoux. 6th is Niki Lauda in the World Championship points, leading non-turbo car.
Yes, very good race that Lauda and his McLaren is having, the Marlboro McLaren, going down the bridge. That breaking Thierry Boutsen, who's made such a good, promising debut to his Grand Prix career, that McLarens must be very pleased with the performance of their car in this race.
On lap 63, with Prost leading, Piquet second, this man, Patrick Tombe, who has been a model of reliability and consistency this year in 3rd position. 5th in Brazil, Patrick Tombe. Led Long Beach until he was punted off by Keke Rosberg. 4th in France, he won gloriously at San Marino. 4th at Monaco, 2nd in Belgium. Didn't finish in Detroit. 3rd in Canada, 2nd equal in the World Championship with 27 points. And he's in the running now for 4 more, with Nigel Mansell snapping at the heels of the Alfa Romeo and going through on the inside. Yes, beautifully. Passes Mauro Baldi. Now up to Michele Alboreto. A burst of power from the Renault engine, and he goes straight past Alboreto with the new DFY engine. And now Alain Prost, quiet, determined, very ambitious, is almost home to win his 10th Grand Prix to enhance his chances of becoming the first ever French world champion in Formula 1 Grand Prix racing, through the chicane and approaching the checkered flag, which is ready, and Alain Prost has won now as he waves to receive the plaudits of the crowd. The 2nd place man, Nelson Piquet, goes into the chicane. 3rd, Tombe. 4th, Mansell. 5th, Arnoux. And 6th, having been lapped, will be Niki Lauda. And you will see in a few moments Nigel Mansell, who is coming into the chicane to take a superb 4th place, having come up from 18th place on the grid, something that he and Lotus and JPS and everybody associated with them can be very, very proud of. That means, of course, that Alain Prost extends his lead in the Drivers' Championship over Nelson Piquet and Patrick Tambay, but Keke Rosberg is hanging on there in 4th position with Rene Arnoux 5th, and in 6th position John Watson. It means that Renault have pulled away too from Ferrari in the Constructors' Championship, with Williams 3rd and with Brabham 4th.
I'm very happy. I think I just drive today because my car was nearly fantastic. I think if I won today it's because my car was good, but also my tires were fantastic, much better than the Ferrari.
And a wonderful reception here, Alain, from the British crowd. You're obviously very popular here.
I hope so. I hope so, because, you know, 2 years ago I had to win the race, and I think I missed the championship 2 years ago. I think it's a good win for me today.
After the race in the Renault area, understandable jubilation, because who wouldn't be happy having seen their man come home in 1st place as convincingly as Alain Prost did. But next door in the John Player Special Lotus area, equal jubilation for the superb performance of Nigel Mansell and the magnificent drives by Elio De Angelis in practice. A great day for all of them. But the sting is in the tail, and it's a very big but, because we have just had the news that Ken Tyrrell, the leader of the Tyrrell team, has officially protested the Renault and the Ferrari teams for using water injection in their petrol system, as a result of which those results must remain unofficial. It means then that Nelson Piquet could have won the British Grand Prix. It means that Nigel Mansell could be 2nd and not 4th. It means too that the Constructors' Championship will have to be depending on the other results. But whichever way it goes, it means that the German Grand Prix is the next one in 3 weeks' time at Hockenheim on August the 7th. As ever, Grand Prix is going to be there, and as ever, we hope you will be there to join us.